Welcome to the Cosmic Business Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Sophia Pallas, and this podcast is for soulful entrepreneurs who want to harness the cosmic power of astrology to elevate their message, unlock flow, and attract their best clients ever. Join me every week and get excited to discover how you can use the energy of the cosmos to get the business breakthrough you've been waiting for. Hello there. Today we're going to talk about something that I think is one of the most important things to consider when it comes to your personal brand, your marketing in your business, and how you operate your business. So we are talking about the rising sign. The rising sign is the sign that was literally rising over the eastern horizon at the time you were born. It is one of the most specific points to you because the rising sign changes every couple of hours. So it's not like your sun sign, which the sun is in that zodiac sign for the whole month or, 28 days or however long it's there. This is about that specific point in time that you were born. So it's really reflecting how you came into the world. The rising sign is considered to be how others see you. It's how you approach life, and it's the lens through which you see the world. It is literally your persona, your personal brand, the impression you make on others. And one really great analogy I read in Sue Tompkins' book is that if we think of an astrology chart like a whole house, the rising sign is like the front door. We have to go through that door to get to the rest of the chart, to get to the rest of ourselves, and to let others in, and for others to start to understand us. We have to let them in through that front door. So that is why the rising sign is one of the most important things to consider when it comes to your business and particularly to your marketing. And it means it's something that you can amplify for more alignment and opportunities. So before we explore the details of your specific rising sign, there's one thing that I want to talk about today. One thing about your rising sign that can give you a whole new perspective on how you operate and show up in your business. And that is the modality of your rising sign. So in astrology, there are three modalities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The modalities are based on the seasons and where in each season the sign fits. For instance, the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, indicate the start of the season. So it's an initiating energy. You'll note that Aries season in the northern hemisphere happens in the first month of spring. In the southern hemisphere, it's obviously the first month of autumn. So it's an initiating energy for that season. Cancer in the northern hemisphere sets off summer. In the southern hemisphere, it sets off winter, and so on. We go through those cardinal signs are initiating that season, so it's an initiating energy. For people who are born in the middle of the season, or rather for the sign that is in the middle of the season, when the temperature and the theme is pretty set, those are the fixed signs. So, for instance, when we're looking at the middle of autumn, for us in Australia, that would be Taurus season. Or the middle of spring in the northern hemisphere, that would be Taurus season. That's a fixed energy. The middle of summer for the northern hemisphere is Leo season. The middle of winter for us here in Australia is Leo season. It's an interesting juxtaposition because in the southern hemisphere, we're obviously the opposite of the way things were created in astrology, which was based on the northern hemisphere seasons. That's why Leo's season is all about the sun, because it's in the height of summer in the northern hemisphere. But it's really important to know that these seasonality or these seasonal traits apply no matter where in the world you are, right? Because that's how astrology works. It doesn't always make sense for it to work in certain places, but it does. So as I just said, Leo season, middle of the season. Leo is in the middle of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, middle of winter down here. Therefore, it's fixed energy. It's the fixed part of the season. Then we have those people who are born under or have the energy from the end of the season, when things start to feel kind of changeable. And that is the mutable energy. That is the mutable modality. Because things are changeable, they're no longer fixed. They're no longer initiating. They're now mutable, changeable, flexible. And you can start to sense where I might be going with this. But let's start with the cardinal signs first. So again, the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. Being a cardinal rising sign means you naturally want to initiate or get things started. Now, this is a great modality to have for an entrepreneur because you love to initiate new ideas and projects. However, when it comes to following through or completing projects or sticking them out, you can get bored and lose that momentum. So cardinal rising signs are amazing at getting projects off the ground, but to sustain them, you might need to build a team around you to help with the follow through, because that is not your strong suit. So if you're a cardinal rising sign, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Once projects are initiated, how can you see things through without getting bored in your business? How can you implement things to help you build patience and long-term grounding into your business so you don't get distracted by the next shiny thing you want to do and you actually give things a chance to grow roots? Okay, so those would be the things you want to ask yourself if you're a cardinal sign. Now, if you're a fixed rising sign, that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius. Differently to, or conversely from cardinal rising signs, fixed rising signs love follow through. I say we because I'm a Taurus rising, we are creatures of habit and we love to have systems and processes to follow. Once we've decided on something, we tend to be very steadfast in it and we want to see it through. However, fixed rising signs might tend to literally fixate on things and stay in certain habits or patterns for too long. It's harder for them to get projects started. They don't have that same initiating energy that the cardinal signs have. And it's also harder for them to change and move because they're in that fixed energy. So the questions I would ask myself, and I will be asking myself because I have this energy, is with this fixed rising sign, do you need to bring more variety into your business or spark fresh ideas? Like, what do you need to do to help bring that variety in and to help you spark fresh ideas? What are you fixating on or holding on to that might be holding you back? Because often with these fixed energies, we sometimes don't even realize how long we've been holding on to something, whether it's a belief, an idea, a process, a way of doing things that is no longer working for us and it needs to shift and change. But we've been holding on to it because we like to hold on to things and we don't love change. So really ask yourself that. What are you potentially fixating on or holding on to that might be holding you back? Okay, let's move on to the mutable rising signs. So these are Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. Mutable rising signs love variety. They love going with the flow. They love trying new things, potentially all the time. And they might be selling multiple offers. Whenever the mood strikes, they might change their offers as well. I see this a lot. I have a lot of clients with mutable rising signs. And I see this a lot with people who want to have all of these offers going at once, right? And this is great for variety, but it can be a little confusing for your audience. And you also don't always have the follow through of that fixed energy to keep you going. So you don't have, people always talk about consistency in business. This is something that's particularly difficult for people with mutable rising signs because they love to move and produce and create when the mood strikes them. It's harder for them to be, when the inspiration strikes, it's harder for them to be in that consistent fixed energy of plodding along or putting something out every week. They much prefer to create in that more flowing, changeable way, flexible way. That's what I like to think of as that mutable energy. It's a very flexible energy. The great thing about a mutable rising sign is that you really intuitively know when it's time to bring things to a close. You don't keep pushing or holding on to things that are no longer serving you, like a fixed energy. And you might not keep creating and keep initiating like a cardinal energy, because you have that intuition of when it's time to slow down. You innately go with the flow, right? So this is a great thing. Adaptability is your gift. But you may need support around you to improve consistency and to streamline your business so you don't have so many offers going out at once, because you really want to keep things simple for you and your audience as much as possible. So what I would ask you to potentially journal about is, how can you bring consistency to your business without feeling weighed down by it? How can you appreciate your love of variety and change while also keeping things simple? So are there other ways for you to have variety and change within your business without creating or recreating offers all the time? How can you build that in so you feel you're allowed to express that mutability without it potentially confusing your clients or customers? Okay, so those would be the things I would be asking myself as a cardinal, fixed, or mutable energy in your rising sign. Now, just to clarify, because I may not have said this at the beginning, your rising sign is based on the zodiac sign that was rising over the eastern horizon at the time you were born. This means you will need to have an accurate birth time. So, as I've said in a previous episode, this can be a little tricky. I think it was episode 1 where we talked about how astrology can give you that breakthrough in your business. Find out your birth time as accurately as you can. This is going to give you such a great insight, understanding your rising sign, and particularly starting with the modality of your rising sign. It's going to give you such a great insight into how you operate and the things that might be holding you back, or the things that you can amplify in your business. Okay, and I will be back with another episode about each rising sign specifically, but I wanted to give you that kind of overview of the modality so you can see those trends in energy and start to apply that in your business for greater success. Thanks very much, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me on the Cosmic Business Breakthrough. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, head to sophiapalace.com or follow me at Sophia Palace over on Instagram. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'd love for you to take a moment and review the show if you found it helpful, and share it with a few friends. Thanks again, and I'll speak to you next time.